are you doing today? I am the YuGiOh Scrub, but you can call me Bailey. Even if you're not subscribed, I will give you that honor today because it's a somber day. I'm being sent to the Shadow Realm, and this is my will. Everything I own is left to my dog. There you go. Today, my dumbass intro came up with that, and we are playing a Last Will deck. This deck has been going around pretty frequently now for a couple of weeks. It is a Last Will toolbox combo deck. I don't know exactly where it became popular. I had the idea, not that it's my idea, but I've used this before where Last Will and Exile Force, because Exile Force seems like the best way to just trigger Last Will at the cost of typically a normal summon, maybe a Premature Burial or Call of the Haunted. But summon it, tribute it, trigger Last Will, and pop a monster at the same time. We're running the best ways to, cards to get off Last Will. So of course, Cyberstein, absolutely fantastic, broken card. Injection Fairy Lily, sometimes you don't have 5,000 life points, but you want the 2,000 life points to spare, and a massive beater in Fairy Lily. Kind of relies on Mataza the Zapper with Mage Power and United We Stand to push for game, but that's why we're running two of it. I did have one, and then I added two because I think it's important. Sandgan, sometimes you just want to do something simple like trigger Last Will, get a Sandgan just to keep the chain of cards flowing. Visor Shock can be really interesting. We'll see if it comes in handy at all. It also is a dark, which helps with the Mystic Tomato. DD Warrior Lady, the Mystic Tomato's not great. I mean, it can maybe return a set monster if your opponent hasn't flipped it up yet. Maybe some set spells or traps, but yeah, they can just reset it, assuming they attacked in to the Mystic Tomato on their turn. DD Warrior Lady, Spirit Reaper, Dawn's Alug. So it's a little bit of a warrior deck, but specifically 1,400 or less attack warriors. Amazoness Archer is interesting because it can tribute 2 monsters, so it's another way to tribute cards. Potentially something like Enemy Controller can then steal a monster and tribute it with an Amazoness Archer and trigger Last Will. Sinister Serpent and Magician of Faith. Magician of Faith is here because it's a great card. Also, sometimes you can Last Will Magician of Faith and flip it with Tsukiyomi. Cyberjar is one of the win conditions of this deck. If you can make this survive till your turn and then flip a Cyberjar, you just get so many pluses, and oftentimes you have the combo pieces from the Cyberjar resolving that you can push for game. Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke because it's a light and searchable. Jinzo and Zaborg, because these are tributes, and you can tribute to get trigger your Last Will. So if you tribute, I don't know, a Sandgan that was searched off Mystic Tomato, you can then tribute for one of these monsters and trigger Last Will. Tribe Infecting Virus and BLS, because of course you're going to run BLS. I'm teching an Enemy Controller because I think it's going to be a little interesting to potentially, again, trigger Last Will by tributing a monster. Giant Trunade and Heavy Storm, a lot of them run Royal Decree. I want to try Trunade, I just think it's interesting. Pot of Greed and Graceful. I'm not going to run Duo in this deck. Space is just really, really tight. Maybe it's really stupid to not run it. It's such a good card, but we're just not going to do it. Mage Power and United We Stand, because we want to power up the Mataza the Zapper and then push for game. Double Reinforcement of the Army to get to our Exiled Forcer or any of our warriors. Rhoda and, not Rhoda, Snatch Steal, Premature Burial, and 1 Nobleman. Again, space is tight. We would run 2. Call of the Haunted, Ring, 1 Decree, and Torrential Tribute. Let's just go ahead and play because I don't have tons and tons of time today. Go Format Ladder, find Duel, click this button. I have added music, you guys haven't known, and it's not just Sea Shanty 2 on repeat now. I have looked through all of the old school RuneScape music and picked the best bangers, and so it's going to be on a loop. Let me know if it's too loud, if you want different songs. Maybe someday I'll change the order up. Right now it's just a loop that I threw together in Audacity, so hopefully it doesn't get too boring. But it is what it is. I think that some music is better than no music. Our opening hand, because we actually won Rock, Paper, Scissors. I've been on a roll today. A couple of Rock, Paper, Scissors wins in a row. But we got Snatch Steal, Enemy Controller, Tribe, Trunade, BLS, and Mataza the Zapper. We'll just set Enemy Controller because it's kind of a useful card. Can maybe be defensive. Maybe it... Okay. We will Enemy Controller, putting that to defense position. Could have maybe taken the damage. They wouldn't put us out of level limit area B. That's unfortunate. I suppose, though, in Chain Energy, we draw Exiled Force. Okay, what do we want to do here? I think we go ahead. We don't want to activate Trunade quite yet. Or we do activate Trunade and then Snatch Steal. So we'll pay 500. Trunade, the level limit and chain energy back. Activate Snatch. Summon Mataza. 2 attack. Hit for 13. And attack. Pay 2,000. He's 3,400, and I think from there we'll just end our turn. Feeling okay about this position. We know he has chain energy. We know he has level limit, but level limit doesn't do anything against these two monsters. He gains 1,000 from the Snatch Steal, but he has to deal with these monsters somehow. YuGiOh Panda. So I eat 500 because Panda is at 18. Panda gains 500 attack for each monster on my field. It's now at 13. And he does activate the chain energy. We draw Call of the Haunted. We will... I think... Okay. 3,400 would put him pretty damn low. We'll just try to attack. It's a Nightmare Wheel. Okay, so it can't attack. At the end of main, we'll take 500 more. Not 600. Set Call of the Haunted. And it's my end phase during... No, my standby phase. Do I want to get rid of the Panda? I don't think I do. Not quite yet. We'll just end my turn. He gains 1,000 life points from Snatch Steal. I take 500 from Nightmare Wheel. And let's see. He just ends his turn. I draw another Mataza the Zapper. Don't have any lights in grave. Can't summon BLS. We will pay 500. Get rid of the YuGiOh Panda. Activate Call of the Haunted. Bring back Mataza the Zapper. And try to attack for another 26. I just am looking. Did he ever actually... I'm just gonna take it on faith that he set the Magic Cylinder after, or before Chain Energy. I just can't remember. We'll attack again for 13. And we'll end. Take 500 from Nightmare Wheel. Probably should have switched Injection Fairy Lily to defense, considering I can't use its effect anymore. He sets a monster into one more back row and ends. We'll pay 500. Draw Fairy Lily, Ring, Jinzo. send Fairy Lily and Tribe to grave. Pay another 500. I did. And then let's go ahead and attack. It's a Mask of Darkness. Can get Magic Cylinder back, that's fine. And Nightmare Wheel would be destroyed because it goes away immediately as the Fairy Lily is tributed. So, very close game. He can only put 2 cards on the field. Traps do nothing. Yep, okay. Pays 500 for Pot of Greed. So I think Panda would maybe be the only out. And I don't even know if that's an out. Because Panda doesn't do enough damage over Mataza the Zapper. Mataza goes to grave because called haunted. Says when it leaves the field, destroy. It's not like premature burial. But now he has level limit on the field and he's probably going to activate Chain Energy. We draw Sinister Serpent. I think we could just end our turn. He can't put any spells or traps on the field, and he can't activate cards because of his own Chain Energy. Putting the Chain Energy back on the field might have been his downfall. Depends what this face-down monster is. And with these face downs, honestly, everything depends on what my opponent has. That's such an easy statement. Depends what my opponent has to make his plays, but yes. If the face down monster is like a man-eater bug, then that'd be fine. But he needs a way to get this Jinzo off of the field without putting any more cards on the field. He can activate the 2 face downs, depending like if it's a Jar of Greed, but that wouldn't even do anything. Because he can't then activate a spell or a trap. So, I have 1 more activation, so I can sit here and wait for Heavy Storm. And I think that's what I'll do. Cyberjar, not good enough. We'll go to end and discard Sinister Serpent for hand size. Get Mystic Tomato. Just discard Tomato for hand size. And it's going to be a little bit of a boring game. But still a game. Get Bizar Shock. This does not do it because I need to get monsters off of the field. Not monsters. Because it's higher than level 3, level limit area B would put it to defense position, and I can't have that. So we'll go to end, discard ring. I would lose by deck out, but that's fine. This is actually pretty funny. Yeah, could I... What's better? If I pay 500, summon the archer, and then prio, he would have to have... Judgment wouldn't even do it, because Jinzo's on the field. Okay, so I'll pay 500, summon the Amazon's archer, with prio. He eats 1200, and that's game. Okay. So pretty nice. Mystic Swordsman level 2, definitely want to bring that in. Breaker, want to bring that in. Trunade, we'll bring that in. Decrees, bring these in. Probably take out Torrential Tribute. Call. Ring. Enemy Controller. Stein, because it's a burn deck. I feel pretty good about this. Oh, gotta stretch. Stretching feels so good. Wow, what an opening hand. That just looks nice. Zaborg, Breaker, Jinzo, BLS, Pot of Greed. He's going to open up Delinquent Duo and discard Pot Breaker. Or Pot Breaker, Pot BLS. He summons Sangan. Sets 1. We'll go ahead. We draw Spirit Reaper. Let us activate the Pot of Greed. Draw United We Stand and Heavy Storm. We will summon Breaker. And try to pop this back row. It's just desserts, we'll eat 500. And we will attack the Sangan. He searches something. Injection Fairy Lily. He summons the Fairy Lily. He eats 2,000. We eat 1,800. A favorable trade for us. We draw Mataza the Zapper. We'll set Spirit Reaper and end. Hopefully no Nobleman. Best thing would be just an attack from Injection Fairy Lily. I'd like him to set one more card, then we can Heavy Storm. Would likely next turn tribute Spirit Reaper for Zaborg. That would put a light on field, multiple darks and grave. We get Trunade. We'll tribute for the Zaborg, popping Injection Fairy Lily, and trying to attack. Getting the Rescue Cat. Wow, I'll take that free plus. And I think we can just end our turn there. We have BLS Heavy Trunade, BLS with a United We Stand. Also Mataza the Zapper for 2 attacks. Next turn, he summons Tribe. discarding a Mobius for the effect to pop the Zaborg. We'll eat 1600. We draw Sangan. So, we have game here. We'll just heavy. And if he has something to stop the heavy, then we can True Nade after. Ring, True Nade. We'll go ahead, summon Mataza, banish a light, banish a dark, summon BLS, activate United We Stand, goes to 4600, and that's just game. GG's. And he left. We are at 20 minutes, we'll play one more match for you all. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. If not, go and make it a fantastic day, then come back and finish this video. Does it make you guys uneasy that I look down because I'm trying to look at the screen and not staring at you into my camera? If I had to guess, I hopefully doesn't make you uncomfortable. Let's go ahead, click rock this time. Oh my god, I'm on fire today. I think that's like 3 or 4 in a row. Like I've said many, many times, greatest rock, paper, scissors player in the world. I just lose on purpose to make my opponent not feel bad. We'll summon Mystic Tomato, set Call the Haunted. Opening hand is Tomato, Call the Haunted, Serpent, Nobleman, True Nade, Torrential Tribute. He has Delinquent Duo, hitting Nobleman a cross out, and obviously we'll discard Sinister Serpent. He then activates Graceful Charity. Has 2 of the 3 Trinity, and I bet he's going to activate a Pot of Greed right after this. Discarding a Dakoichi. So, pretty standard Chaos Turbo so far. Dakoichi and a Nobleman of his own. Do we see the Pot of Greed? Nope, we see a set monster. There's Last Will. Let's just go ahead and attack this face down. Probably a... It was a Dakoichi. We'll end our turn. Oh, I could have gotten back Sinister Serpent. Would have been better. He activates a Jar of Greed. So he's got lots of pluses. There's the Pot of Greed. It just was 1 turn too late to have it. All of Trinity in the same turn. So he has 7 cards to my 5. Upstart Goblin. We'll take the free 1,000 life points. Another free 1,000. So he's running Chaos Turbo. He sets a monster in 2 back row. There's a Royal Decree. That's pretty good. Standby. Let's get back. Sinister Serpent. Battle. Attack this monster. It's a spy. Probably gonna get back Pot of Greed. Nope, he gets back Graceful. And we'll set the Royal Decree and end. He MSTs the Royal Decree. A-okay by me. He's likely searching for a Chaos monster. He does have the Light and Dark engraved now with multiple Dakoichis and a Magician of Faith. He activates Graceful Charity, discarding Card Destruction and Torrential Tribute. There's the Banish. He banishes my Mystic Tomato and sets a monster. We get Mataza the Zapper. He gets rid of the Mataza. We'll go ahead, set Sinister Serpent, set Torrential Tribute, end my turn. Nobleman could be in my future. He's discarded one, but he's seen so many cards. We do have a play potentially next turn. If he attacks over the Sinister Serpent, he heavy storms. That's fine. Well, not really, but it is what it is. I was gonna say the play would be Call on the Haunted, the Sinister Serpent, Chain Torrential after activating Last Will, and that would give us a monster on board, though I don't think it would be incredible. Hits us for 3,500. We draw Pot of Greed. Standby, let's get Serpent to hand. We'll activate Pot of Greed, drawing Premature Burial and Enemy Controller. Let's go ahead, activate Giant Trunade. Summon Sinister Serpent. Activate Last Will. Activate Enemy Controller. Get the Chaos Sorcerer. Declare Last Will. And get ourselves probably Mataza the Zapper. Or we go for Cyberstein, get Gatling Dragon, and hope for some heads. Let's do that. There's the Gatling. One heads, one tails, two tails. We'll attack. Needs 14, declare and banish the Chaos Sorcerer. We'll then set Premature Burial as a bluff. He's heavy stormed and MST'd. I think we're too low of life points to feel comfortable with the Premature Burial. I mean, obviously, if we use it for game, we use it for game. But I don't think that's the most effective use of it right now. Maybe Mataza was better there. We would have ended with a Mataza on field. The Chaos Sorcerer would still be banished. There goes a light and a dark, so ultimately it didn't matter. BLS would have still come out. We'll set the Spirit Reaper and end. I imagine next turn he will just banish the Spirit Reaper. That is exactly what he does. Spy gets flipped, attacks over the Cyberstein. We draw Amazoness Archer. We'll set Amazoness Archer and end. Okay, that's game. Mind Control is good. Mystic Swordsman level 2 is good. Kaiku's pretty good. Okay, to 1 Mataza. Zaborg seems okay. Amazoness Archer doesn't seem great. Decree seems fine. Yeah, Decree's against some of his stuff. Could be pretty good. Sasuke Samurai is also good. Maybe Magician of Faith. Tsukiyomi. Bring in Mataza. And maybe bring in Nobleman across out. We saw a lot of flips. Takoichi's, Faith, Spy. Opening hand is Call of the Haunted, Mataza the Zapper, Exiled Force, Last Duel, BLS, Kaiku. So let's go ahead, summon Kaiku, set the Call of the Haunted. Next turn we do have Exiled Force, Last Will, potentially. I would like a back row clear. He opens up with Graceful Charity again. Kaiku does a pretty good job keeping his Chaos Monsters off of the field. Not even a pretty good job, a great job. He has to get rid of the Kaiku before he can summon a Chaos Monster. He discards a Takoichi and a Solemn Judgment. Discards Thunder Dragon, searching for a couple more Thunder Dragons, I assume. Summons the Breaker. Goes to battle. Beats over the Kaiku and then destroys the Call, which, you know, we could chain it, get the Kaiku, but it does nothing. And then ends the turn. Last Will times 2 is pretty good. So we'll activate double Last Will. Normal summon Exiled. Pop, and then get 2 monsters. We have enough life points. I think we can go for game. Yeah, and we'll get Master of Oz. That's 3,400 plus 42 plus the attack from Cyberstein. So that's a very quick game too. Think we'll just go back in. I like that. Love beating Chaos that quickly. This hand does not look nearly as good. Royal Decree, Kaiku, Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke, and Snatch Steal. He sets a monster and 2 back row. I imagine we're about to get shooted. No. We'll summon Kaiku. Get Sakuretsu armored. We'll set Decree and end. He Jar of Greeds. Sets another monster in the back row, 2 back row, and ends. We draw United, we stand. We'll summon Kaiku. Try to attack this monster. We will activate Royal Decree in response to the Regeki break, and he activates Solemn Judgment. Alright, we'll have to end our turn there. But he put himself pretty low. Magician of Faith will get back Pot of Greed. And Tsukiyomi gets Magician of Faith back face down. He sets another monster in a back row and ends his turn. We have to get the Magician of Faith off of the field, so we'll go ahead, summon the Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke. He can get the Pot of Greed to his hand, that's a-okay, but we have to make sure that he doesn't get the Faith Tsukiyomi loop going. We'll just end our turn. He activates Pot of Greed, so he's got lots of pluses, but we have a pretty solid position. I don't hate the cards we have. If there's a set of cards that could sneak a win, it'd be something like this, with a United We Stand Snatch Steal. The monsters are not the greatest. Something like a BLS or a Mataza even would be slightly better. We also need him to play into it a little bit, putting some monsters in face-up attack position rather than defense. But that Judgment could be the thing that gives us the win. Potentially. He goes ahead, summons Tsukiyomi, and just attacks over the Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke, taking the plus. Discarding Metamorphosis. Okay. Well, summon Cyberstein. Declare. Special summon Gatling Dragon. Pay 5,000. Declare. Tails. Best would be one heads. Tails, come on, heads, 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 heads. Wow, unfortunate. So he's got the light and dark. We have to just go ahead and attack. We're not going to activate United We Stand. It's a Night Assailant. I'm glad that we didn't. I mean, could have actually had game if we had popped that Night Assailant, depending on what this back row is. If it's a fake back row, like a Jar of Greed. There's the Chaos Monster. If it's BLS, we just lose. Chaos Sork. So that represents 1,600. Yeah, I mean, that's game right there. And Snatch Steal. So if we had gotten one heads, we would have won. One heads, GG's. Yeah, if we had gotten, you know, like I said, the one heads, then we would have had Gatling Dragon with United We Stand and 1,600 extra damage. Would have put him at 4,200, and he was at 4,000 life points. So that would have been game, but 1 out of 3. What are the odds? 1 out of 8. Chance, or no, can't do the math in my head right now, but not an incredible chance, but not a net 0, obviously, and it would have had to specifically be 1 heads and not 2 heads, because 2 heads would have also made us pop the Cyberstein, and then if we had popped Cyberstein, and then the United We Stand would only have put Gatling Dragon at 3,400, not the other, and then he could have summoned the Chaos Sorcerer, banished the Gatling Dragon, and so it would still not have been game. We probably would have lost, but would have been closer. We would have had the Snatch Steal to then maybe actually steal it the next turn, because we could Snatch Steal whatever he had summoned after banishing the Gatling Dragon back to Koichi potentially, and swung for game, or maybe Snatch Steal the Chaos Sorcerer and attack for 900, which would have been more than the 600 he was at, so who knows how it would have gone down. Obviously we can speculate for years. That Amazoness Archer for game, I really liked that little silly game in the first match. Also, what is Amazon's Archer? She's holding the arrow. I know that's like a traditional way of holding the arrow, but just kind of looks funny. It's like, that's not how you use a bow and arrow. Regardless, I am rambling. We're at 40 minutes. That is a good enough video for me. I am the YuGiOh Scrub. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.